Urdizzle back on a new phone and a new daily. Tournament ending on July 7th. You're going to get a little double round action. And my bag for both rounds is my standard bag, the Fuse, River, Musket. All three are accurate windbreak, the wind glide recoil, and then my two ballistas as usual, the light glide and the light skip, which has replaced the glide skip recently. So holes 1 through 3, we're starting off on Oak Hill. And so hole 1 is one where I just did not feel the overwhelming urge to try to grind for the ace. I have hit this one before. It does have a favorable wind of 2 going left to right, but I didn't want to be bothered with it. One of the reasons was it's kind of annoying, and the second is hole 2 is a little more frustrating to get with a right to left wind of 3, and it's a little bit of a headwind. So this is one where my good shots, this one was not all that great, but my good shots would get maybe as close as the 80s, but this one was 138. And if you've seen any of my other videos, you know I have really worked on my forehand fuse, so I won't call that a gimme, but I really want to give that a run. So I was able to nail that. But that's a tough hole to get. Whereas hole 3 with a wind of 3 going left to right and a tail, I actually felt pretty good about this one. The only times I didn't get this were ones that I hit the front end of that and it just dropped into the water. So 66 feet on the edge there, it just stayed. You got to be really careful with the headwind, so I was able to knock that one in. So 2 not easy shots on holes 2 and 3. And so this round basically all boiled down to hole 4. Could you eagle it? And my goal is to leave it a little short of that rock, and I worked on forehand, backhand, all the different distances. So this is one I've practiced quite a bit, and I was still not getting it often, but that is a real nice one to get. Again, I like to leave that one short of the rock, because then if I miss, I've got that backdrop there, but there were several times where I skipped off the rim or off the top and went into the water long and left. Hole 5 is the par 5 at Harrowing, and I've been trying to use the forehand with mixed results. I feel it shapes better to the fairway, but that one kind of left me a little far back. And so I'm going to go ahead and play so I played the light glide off the tee and a light glide here. And it's kind of a crapshoot. You're just throwing it through and hoping you get a shot. And most of the trees that are near the edge of this green around the pin, so 57 feet I'm putting there. Most of the trees, the collision on the leaves is not there, so all you have to do is worry about avoiding the trunk. And so at this point I'm feeling pretty good. And disclaimer, this was actually a round I played near the end of the 24-hour window. So I'd already gotten a 15 under, so I was actually just kind of giving it one last run to see if I could get 16. And this one I had a little more free time, so I'd say total I spent about 45 minutes on this between test runs and all my rounds. And so going into hole 7 here, I feel pretty good. I've eagled every hole except hole 1. And so my goal is just to kind of throw this one over the top. I got interrupted. That's why you see a pause there. So my goal on this tee shot is just to get it up over. And there's a funny story. You're going to see 2 rounds here. And hole 7 was rough for me in the other run. And so I was able to sneak that through. So right now I'm in excellent shape. I've eagled every hole except hole 1. And all I need to do now is I've got 2 sunshine holes left. If I ace either one of them, I've got my 16 under and I will be tied for first. And so this one, the wind of 2 is a little tricky. So I worked on my river shot and it just wasn't really close. I wish that would have been a little closer. And so not going to get that one. So I'm basically down to hole 9. Going to have to get a hole in 1 on it with my fuse. And if I get it, I've got a 16 under. If not, this will be, I think, the 3rd time I've gotten a 15 under. And so I felt pretty good about this one, but as soon as I let it go, I knew it was to the right. It's just, the fuse is way too straight. It's never going to come back. So just going to have to settle for a 15 under. Again, this is the first video, but this is actually the 3rd 15 under I got. And the second one I got on video. There's one I played and I did not get. So overall, very good round. You got the string of 6 birdies, but I just needed that 6 eagles. I just needed that 1 extra eagle on one of the last 2, and I just couldn't quite get it. So this was actually the first good run I had through. I'd say this is about 20 to 25 minutes into my play. So I'd already done a little scoping out. So hole 1, just playing the recoil, you know, pretty easy stuff. And overall, this round went a little better than my other one as far as distances. For example, my first round, I had to hit that forehand shot from 130 plus. So this one, not great, but a little better. So definitely not 130 range, but 112. So that wind to 3 made that one a little challenging to hit, but fuse is money on those. I was surprisingly missing quite a few of those on hole 2. And then hole 3, I've got an aim spot for this one with that wind. I just throw the light glide up there. And there's been a couple times where it'll skip up and almost ace. It just doesn't quite get high enough. Like that one, that was a really good shot. I never had any luck with that light glide skipping high enough to get an ace out of it. So still getting a 25-foot eagle is much better than trying to throw in across the water. We're back to hole 4. This is the one. This is the money shot. So you just got to hit this one somehow. And again, my goal is to leave it a little short of the rocks. And that one, not quite exactly where I was going. So I left myself with a very tricky shot. So a little further out. I want to be in the 210 range or less. And so here I was in 223 or 222, and I was able to line it up and hit it. And so that is, once you get hole 4, I don't want to say I felt pretty good finishing out, but I definitely felt pretty good about this run, especially considering this was the first good run that I had. So hole 5, I'm playing the forehand. And again, I just want to sneak it through those, and that's the ideal shot. Avoid the branches, avoid the trunks, get it down there, 320. And so I'm going to play the river up over the top. And this one, it's a little risky. I understand that. And I actually clipped one of the last trees. But again, most of these trees around here, the leaves don't have collision. So I'm throwing this shot just working under the assumption that the leaves are not going to get in the way. So good tee shot, average. Second shot, I was able to salvage an eagle out of it. And then hole 6, I really didn't talk about this last time, but there's a lot of shots here. You can play it wide right. You can play it to the left safe and then try for the throw-in. I kind of like, as long as there's a wind of 1, just playing a really high stall shot and letting it slam down. And so luckily I hit the stump there and gave myself a nice easy eagle. Those are nice. Much easier than a 80-foot throw-in. So again, I feel pretty good going into this. All I had to do is eagle hole 7 and then give myself a shot to hole in one of those last 2 holes. And of course, what happens, I clip a freaking tree and drop down. So at this point, I know 16 under is out of play. So I just re-tee it, practice the shot. And of course, the second time, I missed that tree, and I absolutely freaking park it. And all I can think to myself is, why couldn't that be the first drive? So 13 feet, almost a tap in. I get the eagle. And I almost, going into these last 2 holes, I almost just hope I birdie them so that I don't get frustrated knowing that I basically messed up hole 7. So if I get a hole in 1 on either of these 2, I know I've got my 15. So that one I had actually messed around with the backhand river, but that one, if it misses, it can go long and actually go out of bounds. And I definitely wanted to ace run it without the risk of going out of bounds. And so I just lined this one up. I don't want to say I went too quick on this, but I just kind of threw it in my normal aim spot. And as soon as it was in the air, my head just dropped. And I'm like, you've got to be freaking kidding me. So the difference between a 15 under and a 16 under with that ace there was that stupid tree on hole 7. And I re-teed and was able to clear it. So there you go. There are 2 15 unders, and that was good for second place. There was one, I think when I had thrown this round, there was one person that had a 16 under, and by the end of the day, there were actually 3 people with 16 under. So I was able to get the 15 under 3 times, and I was that freaking close to the 16 under, but I suppose if I grinded a little more, I could probably get the 16, but 45, 50 minutes was good enough for me. So hopefully you enjoyed the double dip video here, and the audio and video is hopefully sounding a little better with a new phone, and I don't anticipate any major issues with recording and uploading stuff to the channel. So again, hopefully you enjoyed, and I will be back sometime soon with some new content.